All right, here we are, and we are going to be starting the laws of the sick on Shabbos. Like I mentioned last night, everybody should please continue to review our laws of Moksa on their own. We did not manage to do it all, but I do want to move on because I feel like we should spend about a month on the laws of the sick on Shabbos, and then we'll still have a month to review, because we do have a lot of material to review, both in terms of Moksa and Choila. And what do we start with? I can remember myself. So we have a lot to review before we have a test before Pesach, so that's why I did want to move on. But please do use the sheet and the sources that you have to review on your own. All right, my friends, we are going to be starting with the Mishnah Berurah in Shin Ches Aleph. Start with the Machaber in Shin Ches Aleph. Again, before we start that, as Emmanuel mentioned, the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch in the English has a nice introduction. So I am going to use that to give you an introduction. All right. It's printed here before 328. Introduction. If you're online, it's before 328 is an introduction to sections 328 to 331. So basically, he explains in this introduction 5 levels of a sick person on Shabbos. Level number 1 is a choilish yesh bo zakon.
I'm sorry, which section are we in again?
We're going to be starting section 328.
328?
328, correct. However, before 328, in the English of the Alter Rebbe, there's a introduction, which I'm going to use as a base for my introduction, and I'm going to post it right here, right now.
Good evening.
Right? Good evening. Okay, so number 1 is a choilish yesh bo zakon, a sick person whose life is in danger. And the rule is that you're allowed to desecrate the Shabbos for that person, no problem. Even if his life is doubtfully in danger. Not true? Nevertheless, you're allowed to save the life. Even if their life might not be successfully saved. You're going to desecrate the Shabbos. You're going to go, you're going to buy, you're going to do that. Maybe it won't work. Nevertheless, you do. Even if you're only going to be prolonging his life for a short time. He's for sure going to die. The doctor said there's no hope. But the right medicine, treatment, whatever, he'll live an extra hour. You go ahead and desecrate the Shabbos. You also desecrate the Shabbos to prevent him from reaching that point. You have to wait for him to become so sick that he's on his deathbed and then say, okay, now we're going to desecrate the Shabbos for you. Because the person who is heading in that direction, and the doctors say if he doesn't get treatment, he will become deathly ill, then we can already desecrate the Shabbos from before. Okay. And a very important halacha here is that a person who even asks about it is considered to be shoifech dam. A person who asks if you're allowed to desecrate the Shabbos or not is considered to be a murderer. Well, why are you asking? By the time you're going to ask and you're going to get an answer, he's going to die. You're not supposed to ask, you're supposed to do it right away. In a situation that is time sensitive, no. If you're not sure, you do it.
So in doubt, don't ask the question, just do it, and bring a carbon cartus afterwards if you need to.
No, you won't have to bring Korban. If it's a doubtfully life-threatening situation, you won't have to bring Korban. Just want to look for the language of the Machaber. 1 second, please. In addition, Yerushalmi says, the person who is asked is Maguna. The Rav who is asked this Shaila is considered like despicable because he should have made a drush in his community. He should have sent out the information, should have made it clear to everybody that when a person's life is at stake, he desecrates the Shabbos. The fact that he didn't make that clear to people in advance is what caused them to ask and caused them to delay. And maybe by the time they get an answer, it's too late. Yeah. He doesn't have to announce it every day. But he should announce it. He has to announce it. That's what it says. Okay, so this is number 1. Number 2 is, and by the way, when a person does create a Shabbos for such a person, they don't need a chatas, they don't need to do tshuva, they need to be happy that they did a mitzvah. Because it's not an aveira at all to desecrate the Shabbos, it's a mitzvah in this case. Okay, number 2. Absolutely. Correct. And hopefully they get guidance about specifics and how and when and to what extent. I mean, there's a lot of different shilas, and that's why they have the big Rabbanim who will hopefully pay the big bucks and address these important questions. But the general guideline is yes, that they're allowed because of a possibly life-threatening situation. Okay. Then the next level is a person who is in danger, of losing a limb. Losing a limb. Amen? Chelek Ever. He's going to lose a limb. Either is physically going to lose a limb. It's going to have to be amputated if you don't treat him. Or he's going to lose the functionality of that limb. It might be, he won't be amputated, but he'll be lame. He'll be handicapped. No. Arms, legs, ears, eyes, noses, tongues, fingers. Those are all limbs. An inner organ is generally a sakas nefesh. Generally, if somebody has an inner organ that has some kind of danger to it, presumably his whole life is in danger. But the outer organs, perhaps not, perhaps yes, by the way. If it's a sort of sakana sefer that could affect his life, then obviously that goes into the first category. From what a case where you know there will be no loss of life. How do you know? To the best of our ability, we know. Okay, so the halacha is that by sakana sefer, so first of all, a goy can do anything for that person. You can ask a goy to do a Torah violation, certainly a rabbinic violation, but even a Torah violation. So an example of this would be, broken bone. It's not treated properly. Could be won't heal properly. So you can get a goy to do the malacha of driving the boy to the hospital or the adult to the hospital, whatever it is. Okay, but it really does depend. Neither did I.
We are poor. Where were you last night? We needed an extra. So I was, we were waiting for you. Okay. I was my daughter shipped from Israel. She's for 2 weeks. So
In Kimachullah.
we made it. We made it.
David Leib is coming late, he said. I don't know about Shmuel Leib. I think he's out of town.
We are wife right now. We're people like it.
Oh, it is a dinner. Not about that.
But it's okay. We fight. We need only one.
Wait a minute.
There's other shit.
Okay. Moshe, any chance you could hop on over here from here? Moshe, you there?
I'm there. I'm sorry. My phone is like going crazy. I could try to pop out here. Yeah. What time? 10 o'clock?
We're going to try for 10 to 10, but don't leave just yet. We have to make sure we have
Okay.
Miriam with you. So
100%. I'm in NMB, so but I'll see what I can do right now from the situation I have to deal with. But yeah, I'll be there.
I'll let you know, and I'll let you know if we have time. You davened already?
It'll be my pleasure.
You davened already?
I mean, I didn't daven Mav tonight actually, but I go to the Kolo here in NMB.
Usually.
So we have 6 no diving.
Okay, but we'll let you know, because if there's no minyan anyway, there's no point in you coming, but we'll let you know.
Okay, let me know.
Okay, so a loss of limb only, no loss of life. A guy could do anything. A Jew can do a malacha midrabanan, and even a malacha de'oraisa with the shinui. Shomim?
What do you mean the shul?
The shinui in the kalach hayav,
To make a fire or something?
whatever it is.
How the shul?
The shinui.
So all the like this and
Exactly. With the shinui, you can do that to help person not lose the limb or the functionality of a limb. Okay, number 3. This is a very, case that is discussed at great length, and that is called a choyle she'ein bo sakana. Choyle she'ein bo sakana is a person who is seriously ill, but not dangerously ill. The definition of that is that his entire body has weakened to the point that he is bedridden. When we say bedridden, that doesn't mean he literally can't get out of his bed. It means that he has to stay up. Can't go to work, can't go out, to that extent. Not a regular headache, but a headache that is debilitating, like a migraine, that yes. Some kind of illness that makes him unable to function. Even if he schleps himself out anyway, that doesn't change what his matzah is. Okay. So such a person, you can have a goy do for him any malacha, whether Torah or rabbinic. A Jew can do for him only a rabbinic violation with a shin, a shvus to shvus. Rabbinic violation with a shin.
Rabbi, I have a question. How can you help somebody with this?
Yeah. He can do for himself. Although we're going to see one thing now that maybe he can do more. We're going to see in a minute. Yes. Yes.
Can you give an example of such a case that you can help somebody with a shinu in a situation that the person is a debilitating situation?
A debilitating situation.
Like you said, I think it was the Mahaber that was giving an example, or the Alter Rebbe, regarding him having a headache or things like that. Regarding a shvus to shvus, and regarding a situation.
Well, we know what a shvus is. Now that we've been learning what the Shabbos Baruch Hashem for almost a year and a half, we hopefully know what a shvus is.
Yeah, I know, but you give an example of such a case. That you said give an example of a headache. You said that the guy can't even get up of his bed.
Your question is what's a shvus to shvus that you can help?
No. I know that. I'm saying can you give an example of a person that's sick and how to help him in a situation like that? Like for you to send a goy and to help, like what, to get medicine, like
any person that is sick to the point that he's bedridden, even a flu. A person has the flu, he's stuck at home. A very bad cold. Any illness that he has to stay home. So he needs any kind of medication. The goy can go. You could tell the goy to go drive and buy the medication.
but that's not but that's not the but my question is that's not the issue of sending the goy, isn't it an issue of refuah on Shabbos?
Oh, how is he allowed to swallow the medication? Is that your
Exactly.
question?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to ask you to make an example. I know what a shvus is, but I'm just saying if you can give an example, because it's not the issue of you sending a goy out, it's the issue of a refuah.
So here's the thing. I actually never discussed this yet, but we should.
Because I know a Rav up north, I'm not going to mention the name, that unfortunately he lost a child. I don't know the details per se, but I think there's an issue regarding such a case that they didn't know, they didn't want to do something in Shabbos, and...
Wow. A Rav?
A Rav, a Chabad Rav.
Wow. How did that happen? I don't understand.
I don't know details, but it was something regarding the details that I was told was that it was Shabbos. They didn't know it was that serious, and it was not. It was a fever that caused the kid to pass away, unfortunately.
Wow, that's terrible.
That's the problem. How do you age?
I can't hear what?
Under 1 degree of fever is dangerous or not, or under 5 or...
We'll learn. That's why we're here. We're here to learn.
So in a situation like that, he really went above and beyond, obviously, but unfortunately, it cost his son and Lo Aleinu such a,
That's very sad.
So if it's an issue of a refuah,
the bottom line is, in terms of these things, we're going to learn details. But basically, if there is a doctor that you can ask, you ask their opinion. If there is no doctor, but there's at least a medical professional, EMT, Hatzalah, somebody, a nurse, so then you ask their opinion. You also trust the choila's opinion in this case, the person themselves, if they say it's serious. And finally, barring all of these, if you can't find out and you yourself are not sure, you have to desecrate just in case.
You have to what?
You have to desecrate. If you cannot find out, you have none of these people available, and the person himself doesn't know, or they're a child and they can't know, and you yourself, based on your own judgment, are not sure, so then you desecrate. Whenever there's a doubt, you desecrate.
Okay.
The life overrides. The human life, Jewish life overrides. And there's a famous story that goes with this from a Chaim Brisker, that the Briskers in general are very strict.
Yeah, I know.
And there was once some kind of illness going around in Brisk, and it was in Kippur. And the Brisker insisted that everybody eat.
Yeah. And they wouldn't listen.
He insisted that everybody eat. And when people asked, you know what, I could be getting it wrong. Could be it was not a specific instance,
But it was a
general
plague
thing.
going on. But this was the Salanter, where there was a plague going on.
Yeah,
And people were dying left and right.
yeah,
So he said, this young people are going to fast. And
Right.
people didn't want to listen. So right after Shabbos on Yom Kippur, the Salanter got up to the bima, took out cake and did kiddush. And he broke his fast.
Interesting.
To get everybody else to.
Interesting. I hear you. That wasn't the story I was going to say, but that's interesting. I heard that. No, here's what I was going to say, that I don't think it was a specific instance. In general, Chaim Brisker, who was very strict like the Briskers are, was very lenient when it came to eating on Yom Kippur for sick people. So they asked him, why are you changing your approach? He said, I'm not lenient about Yom Kippur. I'm strict about Jewish lives. I'm strict about Pikuach Nefesh.
Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Apparently, he used to go before Yom Kippur and knock on doors of people who were sick.
Right.
To make sure
they would eat. Yeah, I heard of that. Yeah.
Let me have some idea in scriptures with
Any assumed Rabbanan that you do with the Shinoi is a Shut.
any shoot.
Any Isur de Rabbanan.
I still do it.
Bishul means the Rabbanan.
Shus means de Rabbanan. Isur de Rabbanan. So everything that we learned about Bishul that is Doraita is not a Shus, it's Doraita. Anything we learned that is Rabbanan is Rabbanan. Muktzah is Rabbanan, for example. I mean, Muktzah you could do Talachayat anyway, but I'm saying it's an example of Rabbanan. Carrying in a semi-Rishut Rabin, not Mamash Rabin, Chatzi Rabin, it's also Rabbanan.
So moving muktzah with a shinoi is a shus b'shus.
No, that's actually not even a shus. We learned about that because you're allowed to. You're allowed to move muktzah with a shinoi. So that's not a good example. Muktzah is a shus, but moving it with Rabbanan, moving it kalachayat is not a shus at all. But listen. You know what I'm saying?
I know this action.
One second. You got that? Daniel, you got that?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, yeah, sorry.
You know, all these actions that you say that we are allowed to do this for Shabbos. Yeah, and all these levels. Only actions for to feel, not to comfort. Not something like to comfort the sick. Good? Or like a sick person in a dark room can go on to the night to see a poco. So. So.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry to to bother you. So in to recap, so you could do, so you can have a situation of refuah when it comes Shabbos. You can give the medicine, you can give the ointment to the person, no matter how and what.
I don't know, my may run out of battery.
I don't understand something. We say that if somebody is sick to the extent that it could cause the loss of a limb or an eye or something, surely when someone loses a limb or an eye, it's almost definitely going to shorten their lifespan, a life expectation. And that's statistically shown usually. Why is that not considered?
Are not halachically relevant.
Sorry?
Statistics are not halachically relevant.
Okay. Or if you know that somebody, say if someone's arm is crushed, and you for example, anything that involves general anesthetic would cause a risk to life. And therefore, if someone is in a situation where, if left untreated, they would require general anesthetic, would that be considered a risk to life?
So many situations of risk to limb could escalate to a risk to life. And if that is the case, then yes, then you have to treat it as such. In fact, even though I said eyes, but the Gemara says that there is a connection between the eyes and the heart. And there are certain eye ailments that can cause death. It says there was a woman who, in the house of Rebbe, who she had some kind of eye infection, and in the end her eyeball popped out of her socket and she died. So they said after that you could be Machal Shabbos for eye infections, because they are considered to be a risk to life. So yeah, there are plenty of them that could escalate to a risk to life, and in that case you could be Machal Shabbos yourself and so on. But I'm talking about if it's possible to know that it's not a risk to life.
Okay, so if we're talking about gangrene on the arm or leg or something, for example, that you have to use a chinoi for.
Right.
Okay.
most broken bones, for example, are not a risk to life. I mean, unless there's an exposed bone, God forbid, a broken bone is a broken bone. It has to be treated.
Is it different for children?
I mean, I'm not an expert, so I don't want to say, because I don't want anybody to, ask him based on that if I'm wrong. But in my experience, as a father of 7, Baruch Hashem, and many broken bones, I haven't seen it as being anything risky to life. It's something you have to treat. There's pain, and if you don't it, the limb won't heal properly, and then of course it'll be a loss of functionality. But it doesn't seem to be in most cases. It doesn't seem to be something that can easily escalate to being life-threatening.
I thought we always say that with children, they are, with very young children, almost anything small is potentially life-threatening. Do we not say that?
No. We say that Sorche Tanim is like a choyle she'ein bo sakon. The needs of a child are as serious as those of a person who is bedridden. Not choyle she'yesh bo sakon, choyle she'ein bo sakon.
Okay.
You can say even if they're not sick, they don't have any limb at stake. They're not life. They're not bedridden. But nevertheless, they're hungry. They're whatever it is, they have a need. So because their health is fragile, you can treat it as if they're bedridden. That's what it is.
Okay.
The one area where I have some concerns over here when it comes to children is Malchus Din and the law of the land. I mean, someone, there have been cases where people have not treated their kids. So then you get all these issues with like child welfare or protective services involved.
If you follow these halachas, you won't get any of that. Because any child whose life is in danger, even remotely, you treat even yourself.
Well,
1 second, and any possibility of loss of limb, you treat with a goy, or even yourself, kalachayad. And any bedridden, you also treat with a goy. Anything that has to be done, you can do. You just have a guy do it. You call the ambulance, you call an Uber, whatever it is. It's not. Besides the fact that in most cases you don't have to go to the hospital even during the week. If it's a regular bedridden, whatever. But if it is something like that, then there's a way to do it. You just have to know what.
Rabbi. Hello. How about a doctor that is like very important, like. They have to go to an emergency. They have to go. They call them from his patient.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm saying if a doctor they page him during Shabbos to go to the hospital for a patient, a specific patient, and the hospital is filled with doctors, but they called him.
So if it's a life-threatening situation, then he can go.
Then you go. Okay.
And even if it's life-threatening for a non-Jew's life, he can also go, because otherwise there would be tremendous hatred towards the Jewish people if they would allow somebody to die. But they should try to do it with the shinoi as much as possible. Meaning to say maybe...
That's what I don't understand. When you mean a shinoi, what's an example? Like having a guy call an Uber?
Well, in terms of driving, you can't really drive with a shinoi because that's probably...
Exactly.
Going to put your own life at stake. But if there's if either you call an Uber with hold the thumb, dial with your thumb, dial with your knuckle.
That's what you mean. Okay.
Whatever it is, and then take an Uber instead of driving yourself, and so on. Minimize as much as possible.
I just think that there's so much gray over it, and so much of it is going to be subjective based on that situation. That when you say just err on the side of discipline, that's why you ever have an issue.
In terms of?
Well, I think most people, a kid in pain, aren't going to start analyzing, wait, hang on a second, this helps for Nizik, should I do this, should I not do this, should I not do that? I think the natural reaction is to try and minimize the pain.
Like what? For example, give me an example. Specific example. What kind of pain? Like, what do you mean pain?
A kid has an earache.
Yes. Yes.
So, to what extent can you treat it? To what extent can't you treat it?
We'll learn about it. But that's not, parents are going to be over. Kids have earaches. Nobody goes to the hospital for an earache.
I understand that. But
sometimes it's really painful.
An earache that's very painful, toothache, that type of thing. At what point do you desecrate?
We'll learn. That's why we're here. We're here to learn.
I just think it's very, very subjective.
That's it. We're here to learn. Used cars for sale? I don't know that.
No, here.
Shabbos is Shin Vet Vav Tav.
Shin Vet
Vav Tav. אבל זה לא ימצא. שבוז זה איסור רבנן בשבת.
It's the same thing. Exact same.
Sorry, go ahead.
Before all these actions that we're allowed to do, just wanting to directly, I think it's purification, or can also be like
Preventative?
So, home for
That's a good question. We're going to learn that exact question. We're going to address that exact question coming up.
It's just another word way of saying
Isur Rabbanan b'Shabbat. זה נקרא שבות.
זה המילה ותשבות.
זה ביטוי כזה. ביטוי לאיסור רבנן b'Shabbat. Okay, my friends. Now we come to address an important question that Moshe brought up. And that is as follows. There's a halacha that you're not allowed to take medicine on Shabbos, generally. And the reason we didn't get into that yet, but that's a very important component, exactly. It's a very important component of this set. You're not allowed to take medicine on Shabbos. And the reason for that is that in the olden days, people used to make their own medication. They used to take the different leaves and they used to grind them into a paste or into a soup or whatever. And that's how they made medication, whether a topical medication, an ointment, or something to eat or whatever it is. That's how they made medicine. So, Chachamim said, you're not allowed to take medication, even if it's prepared before Shabbos, because that could lead to actually grinding your own medication. So this is called the shvus. Lakachat rufot, b'Shabbat. That's called the shvus. The Nisad Rabbanon. Even if it involves no malacha other than just taking medication, that is ishvus. That is the Nisad Rabbanon.
עשינו שבועות.
יש לקחת תרופות. יש יוצאים מן הכלל, אבל בכלל, לקחת תרופות זה offense.
How can we, this is one, we don't know that always, but how can we raw fish? We just, how it says with raw fish, no?
Yeah.
We cannot do that. And the things that are written, decreed.
Because the reasons.
Because the raw fish, now we have raw fish.
Yeah, but there was no gzeira to not eat raw fish. There was no decree. No, there was no decree. It's included in the category of muktzah because people don't eat it. But the Chachamim never sat down for a vote to vote raw fish out of Shabbos menu. They never did that. They said things that are not edible on Shabbos are muktzah. The Shulchan Aruch tells you, you want to know what's not edible? Raw fish is not edible. Who eats raw fish? You got to be crazy. So that is something that changed. So when it comes to something that the Chachamim sat around a table, or wherever they used to sit around in those days, and they made a vote, that's called the Gzeira, so that we don't take back unless the Chachamim themselves take it back. So that's why we're left with not taking medicine in Shabbos, even though most people don't know how to make medication today. Even most pharmacists don't know how to make it better. They get it from whatever.
By
With
themselves.
no
Exactly.
easiest to open a call of the
Yeah, well, it's not about the ease of taking it. It's about the fact that we don't know how to create it. In those days, also, once it's made, it's not hard to take. The point is, we don't know how to make it. That's the point. That's the point. We don't know how to make it. The pharmaceutical companies make it, and we sit back and we take it. But for your information, there are some people who still make medicine.
Yeah, like herbal remedies.
Herbal remedies. My mother drank the Chinese medicine. She has a mortar and pestle, and she does it and whatever. I'm just saying, just for your information, it's not out of the question. But I do want to say, and this is something important, an important opinion that is good to bear in mind. There is an opinion that says that when the reason for the decree goes off automatically without the Chachamim taking it back. And one second. And this is not the main halacha. One second, I cannot say kindy. That doesn't work. Or Chaim doesn't work with kindy, sorry. The Tzos HaShulchan brings down this opinion, and he shows us not the main halacha, but he does show how some people followed it. For example, Tosfos says that you see that people clap on Shabbos, people dance on Shabbos. It says clearly that you're not allowed to do that because that could lead to making a cliche, could lead to making an instrument. Tosfos says that perhaps they do it because nobody knows how to make instruments anymore. Who makes instruments? Average person doesn't know how. Okay, now this opinion of Tosfos is not the halacha. Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to clap, but there were people who did. Hasidim today, many do clap. The point is that the Tzos HaShulchan says, even though it's not the main halacha, but it's an opinion that you can use as a sniff lad. If you have another reason to be lenient, sniff means a support. You could use it as a support to be lenient. You can't be lenient based on this opinion alone. But if you have another reason to be lenient, you can use this as a support. About clapping? No clapping. The Rebbe writes in a letter that the basis for clapping on Shabbos is that it's a sort of mitzvah. It's in the context of a Simcha Shel mitzvah. And there's a Maharit, I think, there's a big Achron who says that on Simchas Torah you're allowed to clap because it's for the Simcha Shel mitzvah of the Sefer Torah being finished. And this is extended to other joyous, mitzvahs of joy. So you can't stamp clap if you're going to a concert on Shabbos. But I'm saying you can't stamp clap, but if it's in the context of davening or for bringing in spiritual experience or awakening, whatever you call it, that's when you can.
I have a question about that. Like in our shul, like there's a guy who's like a really good musician, and
Yep.
so during some of the songs when he pounds on the table, but he doesn't like he's like a fancy drumming, with crescendos and you know what I mean. Is that?
I know what you mean, but you have an important rabbi in your shul. What does he say?
I don't know. I haven't asked him yet.
I don't know. It always bothered me. The banging on the table always bothered me.
You can only control people so much, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I always wondered.
I've been in shuls where they do it, but it bothers me. I don't know. I'm interested to know what Rabbi Zion says.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Very good.
Good question.
Yeah.
On Shabbat, I try not to take a pills. However, sometimes I got a hot one. Really bad. And sometimes I push it not to take it, but I suffer. So I should take that because it's really bad. You know, it's like that's a mistake.
שאלה מעניינת. שאלה מעניינת. כרגע אני לא יודע. צריכים ללמוד, אולי נגיע למשהו, לאיזשהו היתר בשבועה.
שאלה שנייה, רפאל הוא תמיד מנגן שני אנשים, אפשר לעשות טקסט שלו.
אבל אפילו הם שניים.
לא, השכן שלו. אנחנו שבעה כאן. 6 שלו התפללו, זה הכי חשוב.
לא שבעה, מוישה אתה זהו.
יש דיברת איתו.
או דוד לוי, מין דוד לוי.
Probably coming from LEC, time to bring forward.
Oh, he's coming?
He said he's coming with. I'm sure he's coming with. Yeah. What was it that you were saying about that if the Nazareth doesn't apply, don't hold by it anymore? You said something like that.
According to one opinion of the Rishonim.
What is it exactly?
You have to source for that?
It's a Tosus in Beitza on the Mishnah that talks about not clapping. I don't remember the page exactly, 28 maybe. Lona. Okay. We continue on, we say, okay. So, the point is, what was I getting at with this whole discussion about oh, very good. What was I getting to about this whole discussion? About something that is, sorry, about not doing a refuah on Shabbos. So this person, we said he can do a derabanan, but only with a shvus, right? Only with a shinu. My question is, how is he allowed to take medicine? Is he allowed to take medicine? That's a one shvus. How does he get out of the shvus, the one shvus of taking medicine? How do you swallow with the shinu? That's not swallowing.
Put it in a paper.
Some medicines you could, some you can't.
Liquid?
Here's what the Alter explains, my friends. The bottom line is that the Chachamim wanted a person to be able to get well. So, since there are going in the world, Baruch Hashem, so they did not allow a Jew to do a Shabbos because we can have a goy do it, right? Why should we allow a Jew to do a Shabbos? I'm talking about a person who's not in danger, just bedridden. However, when it comes to the act of swallowing the actual medicine, that's something that God can't do for you. And you can't really do it with the Shiva, practically, in many cases. So because of that reason, the Chachamim actually allowed the Jew to swallow it himself. Because there's no choice. Understand? It's not like other types of shvusim where we have the option to tell him to do it with the Shiva.
But this is also for a phone too?
אם אתה חולה שם בסכנה, אז כן.
אני חולה שם, בסכנה ויש לי פצע בבטן.
אני לא יודע. אני לא יודע. אם אתה נופל למשכב עם הכאב הזה, אתה לא יכול
זה יכול לשים משכב. למה? זה פצע בבטן, וזה ממש שורץ. לפעמים זה תופס חזק מאוד.
יכול להיות. אם אתה לא יכול לתפקד בכאב הזה, אז זה נקרא חולה שאין לו סכנה, וכן, ומותר.
אני משתדל לדחוף את זה כמה שיותר, אבל לפעמים כשדוחף את זה יותר, אז הפצע נהיה יותר קרוב, יותר חזק, יותר כאב, וזה לא מתפקד.
הבנתי.
אז זה... לא מסתרש, זה יותר טוב.
Amen. I'm just sending myself a link because we are on the battery soon and I may have to go to my phone. Yes.
Taking medicine, I never done in the last one. Taking a medicine, I'm supposed to have Thailand, I'm supposed to.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a sheep. If they make suppositories, I mean, that's how you're supposed to use it. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like the regular way in Thailand.
It's an alternate form, but they make it. They go through the. Just say they. I see. Yeah, it's not considered eating. When it comes to medicine, it's not only forbidden to eat medicine, it's forbidden to apply it also, externally, you know what I'm saying? It's not about eating it per se. It's about any treatment. When it comes to applying it externally, for a chodesh she'ein bo sakana, we would tell a goy to do, because that's something a goy could do. When it comes to eating, the goy can't eat for us. So we have no choice but to give the Jew a heter to smell. When it comes to doing other treatments that are external, we would absolutely ask a goy to do. Okay. We're still in the introduction to 328. We discussed a person who is deathly ill, chas v'shalom. We discussed a person who has one limb in danger. And we discussed a person who is bedridden. Yeah.
It said here, מספיק שצריך להגיד, זה חולה, לומר, יוניד החולה 5 שנים. אז אפשר גם כן לא רבה? עכשיו יש, לא אני ברוך השם, יש אנשים שזקוקים לאדוויל, או לטיינולו. ואם הם לא שותים, זה
יוצא לספר מה המחלה שקורה לחולה. זה יותר מדי, זה לא משנה. Okay, let's continue. All right, number 4 is a person who is not bedridden, but he has what is called a miktsas choy. He has a pain. He has a pain. It's not a slight pain. It's a serious pain. But he's able to function with it. He's able to function with the pain. He can go about his daily affairs with that pain. So that is something that we allow a goy to do a melacha b'rabban. This is called the shvus teshvus. We would allow a goy to do a melacha b'rabban. We would not allow a goy to do a melacha b'raisa. We would not allow a Jew to do a melacha b'rabban, even b'shinoi. But we can allow a goy to do a melacha b'rabban. This is a mitzvah schod. Then we have a michush ba'alma. Michush ba'alma is a minor pain. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Going back to the mitzvah schod. The mitzvah schod, you cannot take medication. A person with a regular cold that is able to go to shul, work, whatever. I mean, maybe people don't appreciate when he sneezes on them. But I'm saying he's able to function. That's called a mitzvah schod. So he cannot take medication.
Can he have cough drops?
I mean, I don't know if that's called medication. That's just kind of like candy. It's more of a soothing thing than anything else. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Isn't a treatment of antibiotics?
Most antibiotics are for infections. And infections are usually either ones that are for a serious illness or ones that are preventing a serious illness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you don't have any discomfort at all. Yeah. Yeah, because if you don't continue, then you won't finish it off. You won't finish it off. These treatments are usually you have to finish them to successfully kill off the illness.
You can skip it. People forget one day and then they don't just continue and
if you can skip
11.
If you can skip and it won't affect you, then it's better to skip. Depending on the situation. So there are medications that, even though it's not life-threatening per se, but it's treating a life-threatening ailment. You know what I'm saying? People who take medication for their heart, you know what I'm saying, heart patients, that sort of thing. So that's included in the permissibility of preventing a life-threatening situation.
Blood pressure. High pressure could be dangerous. Cholesterol is something one day is not going to do.
Right.
No? High pressure would be a thing.
Right. I don't want to give a ruling without a doctor approving it. But if a doctor says that you can miss one day a week and maybe take it right afternoon and again on Motzei Shabbos, he says that's fine. Then it's better. Yeah, it's always better. Always better to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Medicine as much as possible if you can get around. Do you have anybody that can come before? One or two. I'm going to text Lachana. If he comes, it's only one. And if he doesn't come, it's two. Why should he stop in the beach if we can get local? Then why should he stop? So then ask for two.
Oh, so we do sit up before you leave.
Yeah.
You say before
Yeah.
There's a good guy on Shabbos. He said an empty bottle of cold spring water at the Suda. He starts tapping it very quickly, like making it almost like a drum. He says, what's wrong with that? Is that okay to do that? It doesn't seem.
I don't think so.
What's the problem?
So we can make music. We can make music on Shabbos.
According to this is your own.
We don't pass them.
Oh, yeah. the whole end of the Shema.
That's the Ein Minchas V'Yadam Akilim. Not a header.
Even dancing? Not dancing?
Dancing simply. Dancing. Chassidim do it because of the concept of Simcha Shalmitz.
No, I specifically don't dance in class. That's sort of stuff.
No. But Chassidim do it because they consider the Simcha Shalmitz. It's a mitzvah.
Sorry, Hasidim do what?
They dance, they clap on Shabbos.
So what?
Because they consider Simcha Shalmitz. But that minhag was never extended to include actual objects that are used as some sort of
Body.
Exactly.
This is
That is the minhag, yeah. That's the minhag. Based on there is I think it's Maharik. There's a big achron who says that you're allowed to dance and clap as Torah, and that's accepted in the whole world. You know, it's Yontif, because he says it's simple Shabbat, and
that's the whole thing that Luke was people in there. No, I've never seen it. I'm not saying that. I promise.
they made the Gzeir in Eretz Yisrael. It wasn't even the Yom Tov Sheni. They didn't even finish the Torah every year at that time.
No, they did. No.
They took away the Gzeir. By the time the Simple Torah came about, it was a different bezin. How you take away a Gzeir from the previous bezin? Much later. I don't know when exactly.
Generally, 3 years.
The minhag of dancing with the Torah, like on Shmini, on the second day of Shmini Atzeres. I don't know when that started. I don't believe it started with the Moed.
Well, they do the first day.
I'm just saying, but I don't think that happened at that point. Certainly not time of the Mishnah. The Gzeira against dancing is in the Mishnah. In the time of the Mishnah, I don't believe there was any concept of simple stuff. I mean, it's only mentioned in the late Rishonim. I don't know. They were Inu and Niraya, but I don't. He's not even the Rishonim. He's not Rishonim.
Oh, the Rishonim.
I just wanted to mention one thing for the guys online because I think Jimmy was off on it yesterday. I wanted to clarify about that in Minnesota, in Daily Hiraka, not inviting someone, not being allowed to invite someone to knows they're breaking Shabbos. He said it's only if they have a Torah background, you know, they're breaking Shabbos. Even if they walk, you're not allowed to invite them to the temple. So if it's someone like who has the status of a kidnapped baby that doesn't know, it's a huge mitzvah to invite them to the temple regardless.
Okay. The matter needs further inquiry.
Yeah. No, Chabad would probably want to invite them anyway. So.
The question I would want to. It's a question of what's right to do. It's what Hashem wants, but nevertheless, it requires further inquiry. Okay. So, I just don't know what's with my charge for today, and I may be stuck out of momentarily.
Do you like me to plug it over there anytime after you?
No, this plug works because it works for my head.
Oh.
So there's something with my
connection.
Yeah. Maybe it's the plug, maybe it's the computer, I don't know. Okay. The bottom line is we are now going to start. No, 2 different computers, but this one doesn't connect to it.
Have I answered that?
Not yet. Okay. We are going to start the Machaber in Shin Chav Ches. Here we go. Mish yesh lei, Michosh ba'alma, Shin Chav Ches. Shin Chav Chet. Or Dama, correct. Mish yesh lei, Michosh ba'alma. A person who has a ailment, u'mischazik l'hoylech gebori, but he's otherwise going along like a healthy person. Also, lasses le shum refuah. You're not allowed to do any refuah for him. Va'afilo libein Yehudi, even through a non-Jew. Zeir mishum shchikas hamonim, because of the decree that you may come to grind medicine.
Does that mean you can massage them?
We're going to learn about massages later. Generally, we're talking about medicine, whether internally imbibed medicine or externally applied. That's the simple meaning. Are you allowed to do physical manipulations like massaging? So generally, the rule is if it's something that can only be accomplished by those manipulations, it's mutter, because it's not going to bring about your taking in a medication. There's no medication that can treat that. If it's something that can also be treated by medication and you're choosing to do it this way, then it's a problem. Okay. בהתחלה של הסימן, כן. כן. מי שיש לו חולי של סכנה, a person who has, we're still in the Mechaber, a person who has a illness that is dangerous.
What does michush mean?
Michush means an ailment. מי שיש לו חולי של סכנה, a person who has an ailment that is dangerous, an illness that is dangerous. Mitzvah l'chalel olav as a Shabbos. It is a mitzvah to desecrate the Shabbos for Mahar. Zarzar is a mashubach. The person who does it quickly is praiseworthy. V'hashoyel is a shofet. The person who asks is considered a murderer. Because by the time he asks and he gets the answer, and so on and so forth, it could be too late.
The answer is always that you can die.
Could be too late, exactly. You have to be careful. Kol maka shel cholo. Any injury, any wound that is internal, kind of ashinayim v'lifnim, which is from the teeth inwards, l'shinayim atzmim b'chlal, including the teeth themselves. Although it's a suffix in the Gemara, it's actually a doubt of the Gemara. But like I said before, we're always strict on life, on Jewish life. So because of the doubt, we're going to consider it dangerous.
There's a question about these teeth. About the teeth, right?
Yeah.
No, I just said it. I gave an example of the teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
Machal and Alasa Shabbos.
They were in from
From the teeth in, including the teeth. We're going to learn more about it. We're going to learn more about it. Machal and Alasa Shabbos, we desecrate the Shabbos for any of those things.
No.
Sorry?
It's
the choili, the machla. Machla is aleh on that ailment.
Yeah.
On that ailment. Only if one of the internal organs has been ruined in some way. Some kind of something wrong with it. Some kilkul. Because of a wound or a bua, which is a blister, or anything similar to that. A pain is not called a mat. Having an internal pain doesn't mean that he is dangerously ill. Could be it is, but not necessarily. A wound on an internal organ is considered dangerously ill. Of course, maybe it's not if the doctors say it's not, but presumably it is dangerously ill. But a pain, an internal pain, is not presumed to be dangerously ill. Right. Well, if it has the symptoms of appendicitis, then that is a dangerous illness. Absolutely. That you have to learn regardless of Hilchos Shabbos. You have to learn for your survival, just like symptoms of a stroke. I mean, these are things that people might miss, but they're literally life-threatening. Absolutely, you should know. Appendicitis is when the appendix gets inflamed, it can burst, and the infection can spread to the internal organs. The person can die.
Is it teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, appendicitis is very dangerous.
Appendicitis.
Appendicitis, yeah. It
It could feel just like a sharp stomachache, but it could be if it's the appendix. It could be life-threatening, seriously life-threatening, like a matter of hours before a person can leave. Right. Sorry? You have a doubt, you can go. You can go. I mean, you could call 911 and get their opinion if you have to go or not, or whatever. You can call somebody, whatever it is. But if you're not sure, you can go. Yeah.
Do you have Hatzalah there in Miami?
We do, yes. Baruch Hashem. I saw that in LA. I didn't say they're suing them. They're just not giving them permission to use their lights and to respond.
They had to fight that for years. That was all couldn't transport it.
And now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. I had one of my boys actually appendicitis on Shabbos.
Oh yeah.
And we weren't home. He was 16, so that's all. We called that's all himself. But they couldn't transport it because they didn't know what they're doing.
I see.
And 911, when they came, they called. They had to take him because he was underage, so they had to treat him. But yet, at the same time, they couldn't take him because the parents.
So what do you do?
No, they I had shut the practice. I was somewhere else where something happened there. And so I called Hatzalah. And the ambulance
Hatzalah told you.
and said, we need you in the ambulance. I said, I'm just making the call for them. You know, as part of Hatzalah. They said, no.
You're allowed to.
For Hashem, but it's
Very interesting.
They said also if they find somebody to help you in your car and you inside the car, you continue. Let's say if somebody you took him to the car and you drive it, and then you find another person can help, they said, so you continue.
You're right. A person who has a toothache and he's in pain and you want to take the tooth out, so that should be done by a non-Jew, not by a Jew. Even though we said a tooth could be sakanas and pashas, nevertheless you tell a non-Jew to do it, and the Alter Rebbe is going to explain it. I'm going to see it. I was going to explain. Let's read it. The Mishnah Berurah does as well, yeah. You can read it. Okay. A person who has a discomfort, he translates it as a discomfort, and he's not in danger at all. And he is strong and able to go like a healthy person. Also, lastly, before you're not allowed to do any healing for him on Shabbos. I feel even through a Gentile. You need to say even having a Gentile do an ointment or whatever. I feel unless it's in the way that we're going to discuss. They say there are permissibility. There are ways that it's permissible. We're going to see. The general rule is that it's not allowed. Even if this refuah involves no work whatsoever, even Rabbanan, and a healthy person would be allowed to do this very thing. Because he's doing it for healing. The nikar and it's recognizable to do it for healing. Also, it's forbidden. I'm going to read note 7 because it looks interesting. The example is discussion among contemporary halachic authorities regarding a situation where a person is fundamentally healthy, but he takes medication for potential life-threatening difficulties. For example, a person who takes medication to reduce his blood pressure is healthy with no sign of infirmity while taking the medication. If, however, the person does not take the medication, his life could be in danger. Moreover, the halachic issues become more complicated because in many instances, there would be no difficulty in refraining from taking the medication for one day. In cases of this nature, halachic authority and medical authority should both be consulted. Okay.
Very common.
Very common.
Yeah. My mother was taking medicine for 20 years. In fact, she didn't take it for one day. She thought it was she didn't take it.
Just one Shabbos or in general? In general, on Shabbos? I see.
The week she took it on Shabbos also, she felt better.
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, the simple halacha would be that if you can get around taking it on Shabbos, you should. If you can skip it. But you should discuss with your doctor to make sure that it's perfectly safe.
This is a gzera that can't be touched, right?
No, we discussed it before that that Tosfos holds that the gzera is off when the reason is off, but it's not the main halacha. But it's like a sniff letter. It says that's the reason that people clap on Shabbos, because we don't know how to make musical instruments anymore. The average person doesn't know how to make them anymore. According to Tosfos, yeah. No. That wasn't that wasn't Xavier. What's Xavier? Chazal observed the medical fact. Okay. So fine, but it's not Xavier. Okay, but I hear you. I hear what you're saying. We can discuss that. We're learning this a lot, but it's not about Xavier.
Is there any other there? They say that you don't have melodies because you lack of knowledge to do it. I mean, in his time, it was probably very common to discuss that's right?
In whose times? In Tosfos' time?
Yeah, you didn't discuss that.
Yeah, he didn't discuss that. I think it's mentioned also about Chalas Shoshayatin, about Chalas Shoshayatin, about building a raft for swimming. I think it's mentioned there also.
Why we don't use the word shus when we conversation about it? Shus, state. You can use this one.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah. Okay, Shemut Lasak before Shabbos, are we allowed to do it for Shabbos? So if he would be allowed to use medicine, he might come to make medicine, and then he would be chayav for Torah. A person who has a dangerous illness, mitzvah lachalal olos Shabbos. It is a mitzvah to desecrate the Shabbos for him. Like we said before, a person who is quick to do so is praiseworthy. Shoyel is a shuvah dalim. A person who asks is considered to be a murderer, because during that time he could die. And this is what we said before from the Yerushalmi. Please, no, Alter Rebbe. Shin Yurches Beis. A person who asks is Maguna. How does he translate Maguna? Is dishonored. They should have given a drasha, and it's mutter. Shouldn't have allowed people to make that mistake. By teaching them. Should have given a shear back. Even a person, a situation of doubtful life at stake is overrides the Shabbos. Remember, it says that a person should do and live with it. What does to say? See that you should certainly live by doing the mitzvahs. But not that he should come through them to a doubtful sakon. And here we are running out of battery, so let me see if I can get it on my phone. Yeah. You could consider it dancing. A Hasidic shuffle.
Hands and walking is not there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's just looking both feet.
That's interesting. that's not funny. Yes.
No comment.
There's not something else. Let me connect the server. It's not about data has to be turned on.
Try this one. Just loading the account.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Anyway, my computer hasn't died yet, and this one is taking its time, so let's continue for now. Nevertheless, even when a person is certainly in danger. Oh, here we are. Even when a person is certainly in danger, we only desecrate the Shabbos with a refuah that is known to everybody. Meaning to say that is an accepted refuah, not a one that is considered experimental and so on. Is not going to be accepted for desecrating the Shabbos.
What was the question?
Alternative medication.
Like homeopathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just keep the Shabbos for those forms of medication? The answer is no. Can you take them on Shabbos in a case of a choile she'ein bo sakana? Perhaps yes. You know what I'm saying? But to desecrate the Shabbos, to do a sorry? Right. So that I don't know if that's their rice. Actually, I don't know if that's their rice. I don't know if it bleeds. If you know what you're doing, I think it's supposed to bleed. I think it's supposed to bleed. But interestingly, that's one alternative medicine that the Western doctors actually says there's something to it.
Which one?
It's not all hocus pocus. Acupuncture. It releases certain endorphins that go to the pain points and actually help the person.
That would be not allowed unless.
No, I'm saying that is. I don't know if it's going to save a person's life anyway. I don't think so. But I'm saying that is one that is called a refuah. You do it. Interesting. I have an interesting story, but let me first finish the Siman before I say the story. I'm sorry? No questions. Or with an expert. If it is a known refuah, even if you don't know if this person is going to be healed with it, you can you can do a chilul out of a doubt. So the story that I have, I don't know if I've told it here before, is with the Pshat Zalman Auerbach. The story goes, I heard this from Rabbi Lukowski himself, who's the Chabad Rav in Maholo, very active Chabad Rav in Eretz Yisrael. So he, oh yeah, nice. So he had a balabas in his community who had a growth. He had a growth on his face, by his lips. So someone said, you have to go to the doctor, you have to get it cut out. He went to a Chinese medicine, herbalist, whatever, I don't know, an alternative medicine guy. And the alternative medicine said, I'm going to give you creams. You have? I'm going to give you creams and it's going to be okay. Anyway, Lamaisa, the creams weren't helping. And in fact, the growth was growing. So his friend said, you're going to die. I mean, skin cancer, if it spreads too far, is very lethal cancer. And his alternative doctor said, no, it's a good sign. It means that it's coming out. The illness is coming out of your body, and you're going to be healed. Anyway, the rabbi, the man's wife kept on pressuring Rabbi Lukowski to do something about it. And, he spoke to the guy. The guy wasn't really interested, and so on. One day, she decided to take matters into her own hands. And she came into his house with all her kids. And she said, I'm moving into your house. So he said, what are you talking about? He said, well, my husband's going to die. I'm not going to have any money. I'm going to have to move somewhere anyway, so why should I wait for him to die? I'm going to move to your house now. So he realized he had to do something. So he sat with the guy, and he said to him, listen here, you're a chassid, you're a voucher chassid. How do I get this on my computer this up?
I think we lost the sound here.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
I think he's changing to his phone because his computer's out of battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll stand by. I wanted to hear the story, how it came out.
He's not going to resend the link. Or is he going to resend the link? I thought he was going to send the link again. Oh, there you go.
Is there a new link?
No, he's here.
Okay.
Oh, wait, he left the call. No, he's going to send a link, it looks like.
Yeah, I haven't.
I haven't got one either.
I haven't got one either. I think he tried to restart something on YouTube, but there was nothing there. So I guess we'll just stand by.